Hi there, welcome to Kneppyinvests and welcome to a standalone video on a company called Bioxyne, a company that I did discovered about 2011, 2012, so well over 10 years ago. When I discovered this company, I knew them as a company that was selling probiotics and not doing a really good job at it. In fact, I stopped following the company closely not long after I discovered the company because I realized they were not growing their receipts. So I haven't really looked at this company for about 6 or 7 years. And then all of a sudden, the company released their Appendix 4C on the 17th of October 2024, and it caught my eye. Not only did this Appendix 4C caught my eye, it caught the market's eye, and that's why the share price of Bioxyne is up 30%. Now, what does this company do? Now, if you don't know what a company does, you can just go to their website, have a look at the About section, any of the announcements. Now, I knew this company as a probiotics, but about 2 years ago, I think it was late 2022, early 2023, Bioxyne acquired a company called Breathe Life Sciences. Now, Breathe Life Sciences, I think, has something to do with cannabis. So Bioxyne is now about cannabis, all about cannabis. So that's the most important thing you have to know about this company. No longer, or maybe they're still selling probiotics, but it's just sort of a side project for maybe parts of the company. But Bioxyne is now a cannabis company. Not sure if it's medicinal cannabis. Maybe it's more than medicinal. Not sure how vertically integrated they are. Haven't gone that in-depth into the company. But the most important thing is the company did release their Appendix 4C, and that's why the share price is up 30% today. They released their Appendix 4C, also an investor presentation. So let's have a look at why the market is excited about this company today. Pretty good volume coming in as well. Okay, anyway, so when I open up an Appendix 4C, I don't really care about the highlights. I might have a look at this after I have looked at the most important thing, and that is the cash flow statement. Whole reason companies release these quarterly reports are the cash flow statement. I want to see numbers. First thing I look at is receipts, 5.772. Now, typically when I open up an Appendix 4C, particularly this time of the month, because not many companies are releasing the Appendix 4C, I have a look at their recent quarters. So the sort of cash receipts this company generated in the last few quarters. And I usually come up with a number that I would be intrigued about. And for Bioxyne, it was much lower than the cash receipts the company generated in the last quarter, 5.772 million. Now, this is the first quarter of the financial year, and I do like it the last few quarters that we can see how the company has performed, not only this quarter, but also the year to date. So we have the same numbers in both columns here. But receipts customers, 5.772. And then I go down, and the first thing that struck me was the company was operating cash flow positive by $1.2 million for the quarter. And I went, ooh, hello. That was my reaction. Oh, hello. Something to like here. Then I kept going down. How much capital expenditure do they have? So $350,000 in the quarter. So that means the company not only was operating cash flow positive, they're also free cash flow positive. Not quite as high as 1.2 million, but still roughly about 850,000 or so, 900,000. Other non-current assets, have no idea what that is. And not much else apart from that. So the company had only $1 million of cash on hand at the start of the quarter, but they increased that to 1.8 million, almost doubling the cash on hand. So there is potential that this is the inflection point for the company, that they're now starting to generate cash flow in their business. And the most important thing the management of a company has to do when they generate cash flow is what to do with it. So what's this company going to do with that cash? Maybe they'll just keep the cash in the bank as a safeguard against maybe a bad quarter in the future. Or if they keep generating cash flow each and every quarter, what are they going to do with that? Acquisitions, dividends, share buybacks? That's what the management have to decide, or spend to grow the company in the future. Maybe research and development, that sort of thing. Another thing I like to look at is Section 7, which is financing facilities. No debt. In fact, they raised $1.45 million in April 2024. There you go. No debt, so I don't have to worry about that. And that's it. That's all I really care about when I look at the Appendix 4C. Now, usually if I like what I see, then I go through the rest of it. And it was actually really bullish. I found it bullish. And maybe I found it bullish because just the wording they use. For instance, significant contracts executed with revenue potential of over $20 million per annum and with growing customer base. Now, to be honest with you, they're already at that run rate of $20 million per annum based off the receipts in this quarter. So that's fair enough. Production capability increased substantially with additional equipment and facilities implemented and operating. Outlook extremely positive with growing order book, increased capacity for production, and overall accelerating growth. That was probably the comment that got me. Now, maybe the management are being a little bit too optimistic, but I did like that particular comment. Now, the next thing I always look at, I go through like the rest of this, but I'm just going to move on. You can see they've got a revenue by quarter. They also have a cash receipts and net cash used in operating activities. So this is a little bit more advanced than what I do. I just look at cash receipts and then move on. But you can see a really good increase in cash receipts. And also the company has just become operating cash flow positive in this quarter. Now, maybe this is a one-off because this was a pretty big jump in cash receipts in one quarter. So that's something to be wary about. Is this sustainable? Now, let's have a look at the cash receipts history for this company. I have to hide my face maybe for a little bit. Now, I've been following this company, as I said, for a long time. Now, I started following Appendix 4Cs for all companies back in the March quarter 2013. So we're talking about over 10 years ago. And Bioxyne was around then. And you can see from that particular quarter all the way through to, say, a few years ago, there wasn't a dramatic increase in receipts, if any increase at all. There were some really good quarters, but then the receipts pulled back. Some good quarters, receipts pulled back. Some bad quarters, then receipts rose. But there was no trend in receipts from 2013 all the way through to 2023, the start of 2023. Then the company made that acquisition of Breathe Life Sciences, and that's why we have seen receipts just simply explode. And they have exploded over the last few years, from below $1 million up to $1.657 million in the June quarter of last year, up to $2.3 million 1 year ago, then steady increase in receipts the next few quarters, and then receipts have just exploded this quarter. Now, I'm just a little bit worried because they have exploded in one quarter. That could be because of another acquisition. It could be because of seasonality. I just don't know. But I'm a little bit wary right now that this was a really good quarter and there's reasons behind it, and it may not be replicable in the next few quarters. And maybe the market is getting a little bit ahead of itself by buying some shares today. That remains to be seen. Anyway, let's have a look at the chart for Bioxyne. BXN. And I'll probably say not the best looking chart. Now, if you have a look at the weekly chart, there was a lot of excitement in this company back in 2017. I can't remember that. I don't know why. In fact, in 1 week, the share price of this company rallied 287%, but then the share price fell. So obviously that was a false dawn for Bioxyne, not a red dawn with Patrick Swayze and who else is in Red Dawn? Patrick Swayze, that guy in 3 Men and a Half, or 2 Men and a Half. Anyway, Charlie Sheen. I was pretty sure he was in it. Yeah, and Jennifer Grey was in it too. Anyway, I am going off topic here. Now let's have a look at the daily chart right now. This is the most important thing in my opinion. So share price was in a downtrend from about June or middle of last year all the way through to recently. In fact, the share price went to a low of 0.4 cents in July. So the share price has tripled since then, and we have seen some really good volume coming in, particularly on the 23rd of August. I believe that increase in volume would have been around about the time the company announced cannabis gummies. Yes, the company announced cannabis gummies. I do remember that announcement just because it was gummies. I like gummies. But the main thing here is I can't really say the share price is now in an uptrend. Not going that far, but it's a move in the right direction. I need to see the share price get above 1.4, 1.5 cents before I can maybe get closer to confirmation the share price has moved into an uptrend and the sentiment in this company has shifted from negative or maybe neutral to positive. Okay, that's all I've got on Bioxyne, a pretty good quarter from the company. Whether they can continue this momentum in the next few quarters, I think the management is pretty confident they can. I'm not so confident. But if they can, maybe now's the time to buy some shares in this company. Maybe. It's up to you. Anyway, that's all I have for this video. If you have any questions, any thoughts, I'll leave those in the comment section of this video. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor. If you do need financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's it for this video. Have a good day. Bye.